with me. I've done it. I've put the ads on. I hope they were okay. Do let me know. I did ask if it would be okay to put the ads on. I'm only going to do the ones at the beginning, so don't worry. It doesn't put you off. Anyway, if you're still with me, hello. It's May the 21st, and you know what? There's so much to do. There's so much going on. It's absolutely brilliant, fantastic time of year in the garden. But look, I've got my hands dirty already. I just came down and started doing stuff without even thinking of doing a bit of an introduction. So yes, we'll have a look at what I've been doing already, which is basically planting some of the winter squash. And then I don't know where to start, to be honest. We'll just pick it up as we go along. There is so much growing, so much coming on. Yeah, I'll look at my sweet corn. I'm going to show you a new space we've got, and yeah, let's just get on with it. Okay. Well, we've come along to the allotment today, and look what's been left on our little table. We've had a little donation of fresh asparagus. I'm trying to zoom in here and I've realised I'm pressing the wrong button. Hold on, look at that. How fresh can they be, eh? They've obviously been picked, ooh, I would like to think this morning. So only a couple of hours old. And I'll show you how local they are. They've literally come from, hold on to your hats and can do a swing. Ooh, there. That's our neighbour's asparagus bed. And yeah, they've had a fine old crop this year. And they've obviously just finished off and they've donated their last bit of asparagus to us, which is really, really kind of them. And but they haven't only given us that. This is something we're really excited about. Let me just show you. I'm going to walk up the path here. Can you see? I've mentioned before that, here comes Gardener Mike. I've mentioned before that this once was all one big allotment, and now we have this half, and someone else has this half. Hello.
Hello.
And this year, this half, my other finger, this half has got some new plot neighbours, and they've decided they've done as much as they can for this year with what they've got. So they've allowed us to have this bottom plot just for this season. They've just said basically do what you want with it. So it's absolutely fantastic because I'm sure, as you all know, you can never have enough space. The more space you have, the more space you want. And what's great about this is it comes at just the right time for us to start planting out. So I don't know if you can see if it's picking up. Yeah, you can. The sticks. I've already started marking out where I'm going to put the squash plants this year. And we're just going to let them have a good old ramble. We've given it a quick hoe and a quick rake over, and we'll just keep hoeing as we're going. But it means that the area, I'm going to swing you around again, the area that I was going to put the squash in, which is beyond the yellow balls, the sweet corn was going to go there and the squash was going to come here. We can now start using that for something else. Oh, it's got really windy. I hope this little dead cat's working. So yeah, but today we are going to concentrate on going back again. You ready? Woo! We're going to concentrate on getting the squash that we've got ready to go out in the brand new plot. So thank you so much to Richard and Myra. Okay, what I've got here, whoops, I'm going to fall in my own grave in a minute. I think Mike's dug these holes for me, and I think he's dug them quite deep for a reason. Let me show you my plants first of all. These were last year's seed. I had a pitiful crop of butternut squash last year, and for whatever reason I've decided to try them again. They're last year's seed. I thought that one was a goner. It's coming, I'm going to give it a chance. That one's okay. They're not brilliant. They're certainly not as big as the holes would make them out to be, but we're going to put them in anyway because it's really warm. It's really good growing weather at the moment. I think, touch wood, we've had the end of the frost, and you know, we've had plenty of rain. It's perfect put your plants out conditions at the moment. So what we're going to do, we're going to try and experiment as if they haven't gone through enough. We are now going to put different mediums, growing mediums, not the psychic type, in the bottom of the holes. So next one is just some really, really well rotted manure. Okay, now you would think all sorts of squash would benefit from that. So that's going in that hole. Okay. Dig it about a little bit. Oh, it's got red worms in. Do you want to come and see the red worm? They're always a good sign. Always a good sign to have worms in your manure. I know, it's very romantic. There we go. Hello, little fella. Try not to chop you in half. Right, okay. So that one. Oh, sorry.
Oh dear.
I think he's okay. Sorry. Next one is going to be, and this is one we like using. I've used this before and shown you this before. A good old dose of pulverised comfrey leaves. Okay, very, very high in nitrogen, and I used it to plant my beans in. So this won't have worms in yet, but as soon as the worms get wind of it, they'll be in there. So let's get that in there. And then, last of all, some compost from the very bottom of our compost heap, mixed with some chicken pellets. Okay, I think it's 6X, is that what it's called? And so that one is going to go in. There, like that. How easy is that? Of course, what I have to remember to do now when I've planted them is try and remember which one's which. So I will definitely be labelling them. But yeah, what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to get on with putting these little butternut squash in, give them a good old water and cross my fingers, and we'll see which one works best. Okay, so hopefully this year, just not with Mike, hopefully this year we'll actually get more than 2 squash. Okay, we've got them all in, we've got all the winter squash in now, so as I say, we wouldn't have done this many, we'd have probably given the plants away, but now we've got the space, we've put them in. We've got the butternut squash at the back that you saw us put in the different sorts of, the different growing mediums in. So apart from this poor little thing here, which I stood on a couple of minutes ago accidentally of course. So I've given it a talking to, and I think it's cheered up a bit. It'll be okay, but if I can just show you, let's find a clear example. The way that I've put them in. Oh, hello. We've actually put them on mounds, just so that it just helps with the watering. So when you're watering, you get a lovely little moat surrounding your plant. It's not going to dribble off and go where it's not wanted. It's going to stay more concentrated around the plant without rotting the centre. So yeah, so hopefully now I've yet to get the summer squash in, but that's the winter squash. Just needs a good watering and we're done. The beans are coming up, the peas and the beans, they're just starting. These are the, they'd have to be the ones I can't pronounce, wouldn't they? Cos violet, French bean, that one. Cos violet. They started first, but then if we move back over here, the good old pea beans are starting to come. So, look, there's another one. Actually, once you start looking, you see them, they're coming from everywhere now. Look at that. And they're seed just saved from last year, so I'm really pleased with that. But the other thing, I don't know if you remember, I soaked some of my Golden Gate beans, the runner beans, and didn't soak the others, and I thought I'd have an experiment to see which came up first, the soaked ones or the unsoaked ones. And I've forgotten which ones I put where, which is typical. So the good news is they're coming, but I don't, and look, actually that's really strong. Again, that's last year's seed, you know, so I'm pleased to get anything at all. I love the way the bean just cracks open like that, and to me, I always think it's like little arms raised upwards. So I don't know if that was a soaked seed or not. There is another one right at the end of the line, but you can't see it yet. But hopefully, with the warm weather we're going to be having, and after all the rain we've had, we are suddenly going to see these little beans poking their heads above the soil. Hold on. What are these creatures doing down at the allotment? They're Some of our garden pests have appeared. Are they the usual suspects? Hey, Mike, what about your t-shirt?
What about it?
What's it about?
Well, it's sort of a little bit of a thing about the pests and villains on the allotment who spoil your crops year after year.
Ooh.
So it's a very sort of it's a very primal thing, a little bit really about fighting some of these characters. So we've got the mouse, obviously. We've got the wood pigeon, who's probably up in that tree up there now.
Yeah.
We've got the black fly / general bug, who is again out to get your crops. And we've got our old friend the snail / slug here, the slug, I'll say slug actually instead.
Yeah, he's going to be after our squash as we speak, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's going to be making a beeline for it.
Yeah.
So
And I thought it would be funny to come up with a t-shirt design that's sort of they put this lot in kind of rank order or in a lineup as the crooks most likely to ruin your allotment day and harvest.
Okay, so they can get over to the Etsy shop now, can't they, and get one if they want one?
I really hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
yeah.
So a bit of fun.
Yeah.
A little bit of a gardening related pun here for visual pun for the cine literate.
Oh heavens! Okay, yeah, cine
Bit of
literate.
A-level film studies in there.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Potatoes are all up now. We've got our Charlotte, our Kestrel, and our pink fir apple. And you know, before we were given that space, and I've been trying to get things squeezy squashed into wherever we can, I actually planted a row of petit pois down here. And look, they're all coming as well. I've never grown that before. Have you grown it? Is it worth it? I can imagine it's not a huge crop and it'll be very fiddly. Look at the ants everywhere. There's ants all over the place. It'll be very fiddly to pod, but oh, freshly picked petit pois. They're going to be lovely and sweet. Look at this. Shouldn't be long to the first strawberry now. Let's hope we don't have a late frost. Now, I must admit our rhubarb has been fairly neglected this year, and I think it's in a bit of a sulk. We actually got a great big harvest from it last year, and you know, like with fruit trees, I do think that one year you have a feast and one year you have a famine. Well, I think we're in famine mode because if you have a look, look at these weedy ones here. I mean, we have had a long period of dry weather. They haven't been fed at all, and yeah, they're telling us, aren't they? Look at that. Look, let's get out of the way, leaf. Let's misbehaving. I don't know. Something keeps happening with the card, so I'm sorry if you keep going. But however, I have been asked to make chutney for a friend's wedding. And so I said I'd gather something from the allotment, and when I told her I was going to make rhubarb chutney. Oh no, I'm doing that wrong. You meant to twist at the base. Twist, Jane. Look, it doesn't even want to come off. You're being a little wretch, rhubarb. Look, that's not very big, is it at all? When I told her I was going to do rhubarb chutney, her face did fall a little bit, but I swear, it's really nice. So Kim, this is your chutney in its very earliest stages. If I can get it to come off the plant. Okay, in an effort to try and keep my videos a little bit shorter, which honestly, I intend to do it every time. I think it's got to be under 20 minutes. And if you saw the stuff that I cut out, good grief, I don't know what it is. Maybe I talk too much. But in an effort to make this one not too long, I'm going to try and multitask. As in, I am going to pot up some pots and talk at the same time whilst saying goodbye. So, I'm off again. Right, okay, it's got very, very windy, so I'm hoping this is working. I've had so many comments now about, this is a test, isn't it? I've had so many, be there, my cat. My dead cat should be working. Yeah. I've had so many comments now about the poor sound quality in parts of the videos that I've bitten the bullet and I've sent off for one of these Zoom things. I'll show you. I'm all wired up. Look, I don't know if you can see it from there, but it's like a little recorder, really. So I'm having a go with that. and hopefully the sound quality will be that much better. So fingers crossed it's going to work. I won't know until I've gone home and got it all uploaded on the computer, and then I'll probably have a little cry because I'll have forgotten to press a switch. In fact, just let me say, yeah, it's on. Just check. If you make videos, you know what that feeling's like when you get home and you suddenly realise some bit's missing. Anyway, I'm off again already. See, I can't stop. I've already potted up a couple of hanging baskets, and they're very traditional. I'm not doing anything fancy really with them. I've got some lobelia, petunia. I've actually got some anti-rhinum because I got a load quite cheap in one of them, and this one's pretty much the same, but it's got some pelargonium in as well. So I've got those potted up, and I don't know, I think I need to be more adventurous with my hanging baskets. I always have a big one outside the front door, and they always seem to be the same things. But yeah, because I've grown all these things from seed. Have I grown them all from seed? No, I haven't. I've got these as seedlings actually, and I've pricked them out and tended them lovingly. It's just really nice to be able to use those up. I don't put bedding plants in the garden. The garden pretty much goes a bit wild like this. But in pots, I think there's a place for them. So, in my pots, I've got 2 pots here. Let me move some of these out of the way. 2 nice terracotta pots. I am going to put some, well, these are rocks. Next door I have a lot of building work done, so it's very useful. I'm putting some rocks in the bottom. Now, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but Monty Don said basically it's a bit of a myth putting rocks in the bottom because it doesn't necessarily help your plant to drain any better. You're better off not using anything at all. But you know what? I'm not going to listen to Monty. I'm putting rocks in. I've always done it. I've always had good results. I'm sticking with it. I'm going to use my Jack's Magic, which I've got to admit, this is going to be fun because I haven't brought my little didgeridoo. This has been brilliant this year. I think I would say most of the seeds I've planted have been last year's seed or even saved seed, and I've hardly had any. Sorry, I've just seen a blackbird land on the squash over there. Get off my squash. It's probably after some worms. Pretty much everything has germinated. Like for example, my sweet corn, again last year's seed. I planted 12, I should have planted more because I wanted 12, and I got 11. So when I get a bit of time, I'm going to get them planted out outside. So, it's very ad hoc. Look, I can do it without even looking. There we go. Lovely little pile of soil here, gathering around my knee. It's like burying yourself in sand at the beach. Not that you would bury yourself in sand. Anyway, okay. I don't know if we can multitask. Okay, got that in there. Apparently these are very good. I did use them last year actually, I'd forgotten, but people swear by them. So with it being a pot this size, I'm going to put a small handful in, and that's just an all-purpose food, continuous release plant food. But I'm also, and I haven't tried this before, I'm going to put in this aquagel, water storing crystals, ideal for baskets, pots and containers. And in fact I've already potted up some tumbling tomatoes which I've got in a hanging basket in the greenhouse, and I'm going to add some of this to it because tomatoes like no end of water. So get a little scoop of it, about half one of those scoops. This is all okay. Right, I'm just going to mix that in round about the top of the pot. A little bit more in. As you put your plants in, obviously the level of the soil will change. Do you want to see the level of the soil? There. Okay. And in this one, I am going to put. Now, should I do it backwards? I'll do it facing me, and then I'll turn around to show you. A couple of petunias. Same old really. Geranium. I've no idea what colours these are going to be or anything, but you know, that's part of the surprise. And maybe an anti-rhinum or two. and some lobelia. And I'm afraid with my pots, look how dry that is. I'm afraid with my pots, I just squash as much in as I possibly can. And as long as you water it, I mean, it's a short season, as long as you water it, it's absolutely fine. It's just when you start missing the watering and the compost gets that horrible, horrible dry where it's difficult to wet it again. So, I'll do this. Anyway, I'm hoping that my, look at that. Sorry, I'm being distracted again. That was in a pot of, how many was it? Over 20 seedlings for £1, as with the geraniums, and I've got 20 plants like that. So for £2, I've got 20 of those and 20 of those. 5p each. Yeah, 5p each. Fantastic. Again, if you've got a place to grow them. Before I had a greenhouse, I couldn't have done that. What was I saying? Gone. Okay, I'm hoping that sorry, you get what you see. I'm hoping this microphone's worked. You'll know if it hasn't. I might never do another video again because I've tried all sorts. I've tried different mics. I've tried using an app on my phone. Look at that, poor thing. I should have watered these for a bit, but I'll give them a good soak. And yeah, so hopefully this Zoom thing will work. Lots of people have recommended it, so it should be good. What else? There's so much to do. I wanted to get the sweet corn in today. I might come down later on. I mean, again, the beautiful thing at this time of year is it's light. We were here till getting on for 10 o'clock a couple of weeks ago. No, about a week ago. And it's one of those things you don't realise how dark it is until you actually go indoors and realise you've got to put the lights on. But when you're outside and it's gradually going dimmer and dimmer, it's just that lovely feeling. And like if you work, it seems to be in such a long winter. It's like when you work, you come home and it's maybe 6 o'clock and it's dark, and that's like your whole day is gone. The daylight bit is gone. But now you can work, you can come home, you can have your tea, and then you've still got a couple of hours in daylight at the allotment, which is absolutely fantastic. What colour do you think that's going to be? Don't know. Okay, these could all clash terribly. Don't care. It'd be nice. There we go. So yeah, I've got my sweet corn to put in. I've now actually got the space I was going to put my squash, because we put the squash in that bed over there that you can't see but I'm pointing to. I've now got a spare bit of space that's going to be in front of my sweet corn. So last year I had tomatoes outside, and I swore this year I wouldn't do outdoor tomatoes because they all got blight. But this year I'm doing that Crimson Crush. So I might risk, again, you know, it's something we didn't expect to have. I might actually risk putting some tomatoes outside now we've got the space. So yeah, what would you do if someone suddenly gave you a plot like we've been given, say 15 feet by 20 feet? What would you do? I think you'd love it. What sort of things would you plant that you wouldn't have expected to plant? Let me know. I've picked the rhubarb. Terrible rhubarb crop this year. I think I might split it. I was looking at, if you ever go to Joan Doyle, Mrs. Doyle's garden, she's got a beautiful rhubarb crop this year, and she swears it's because she split it last year, and it's come good. It's really benefited from splitting. So we've been here 3 years now, and that rhubarb plant's been in all this time, so it probably is about time. Dig it up, split it, give it a big feed, nice big deep hole, and yeah, give it a bit of TLC. That's what we all need, don't we? TLC. Right, okay. Hey, I've multitasked. I've done a pot and waffled at the same time. Okay, one pot done. Lobelia, geranium, petunia, antirrhinum. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to get on with this one now, and I'm not going to bore you any further. Someone else just walking past and seeing me talking to myself. Which they used to be honest. What else did I want to say to you? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I've got my rhubarb. I've got that lovely surprise of that fresh asparagus. Thank you again, Richard and Myra. And yeah, I'm just going to be down here now. I feel like there is so much to do. but in such a good way, a really, really good way. The greenhouse is an absolute tip. Note, I haven't taken you in there at all today, and that's because there are so many things sort of hard, well, everything's pretty much hardened off now, but it's just being used as a bit of a dumping ground at the moment. But in the next week, I would hope, I'm going to get the, oh, someone else as well. I'm going to get the tomatoes, the indoor tomatoes planted up in there, and I'm going to put, I think I'm going to grow all of my cucumbers outside. I've got market more, and I've got the lemon cucumbers. Let me know if you've done those lemon cucumbers. I'm really excited about them. I grew all my cucumbers in the greenhouse last year, and as you can see, there's less here. They're going well. We've got a good crop, but we, yeah, I'm going to try them outside this year. The market malls are fairly sturdy, but let me know if you've grown the lemon ones before, because they'll be good. Oh, and yes, I was going to plug the t-shirt again. That t-shirt of Mike's. Get yourself over to the shop. Get yourself over to the extra shop and get yourself a t-shirt. Okay, it's we've got, I don't know, I'm terrible at managing my own things. Here's the t-shirt man himself. Completely ruining the shot. Okay, how's the t-shirt, Mike?
It's great.
Hey! Yeah, you do us a favour. Go over and buy a t-shirt. Not that I'm don't like plugging things. It's bad enough I've got the adverts on now. Handful of these. I'm going to stop waffling on. I'm going to let you get on. I've got loads to do. As I'm talking to you, I'm sure you've switched off by now. I probably haven't switched record on either. My head is going off in so many different directions because I can see things over there that you can't, and I'm thinking, oh, I need to move the bean canes, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do the other. And again, it's this time of year, it's almost manic, really. So yeah, I am going to leave you, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm sure it's not going to be 2 weeks before I come down again, or before I film again, because there's so much to do. Okay, so yeah, leave a comment, subscribe, it's free. Got nothing else to do. Love hearing from you. Really, really, really makes it special. So yeah, and get out and enjoy the lovely weather. Enjoy the fact it's May. We love it. Okay, so I'm going to say bye for now.